Welcome to Malice and Mystery, where shadows whisper and the unknown beckons. Step into a realm of spine-tingling horror, eerie mysteries, and chilling tales. From real-life paranormal encounters to unsolved enigmas and spine-chilling urban legends, we bring you the darkest stories from the shadows. Subscribe if you dare, and remember, some mysteries are better left unsolved. The Lost Cosmonauts, Russia's darkest space secret one. The dawn of the space race, the year was 1957, and the world was on the brink of a new era. The Soviet Union had just launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite, into orbit. This historic event marked the beginning of the space race, a fierce competition between the United States and the Soviet Union to achieve supremacy in space exploration. The Soviets were determined to maintain their lead, and their ambitions knew no bounds. Behind the Iron Curtain, a secretive space program was underway, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. While the world celebrated the achievements of Yuri Gagarin, the first human to orbit the Earth, there were whispers of other cosmonauts who had ventured into the unknown, never to return. These were the Lost Cosmonauts, the forgotten heroes of the Soviet space program, whose stories were buried deep within the archives of the Kremlin. 2. The first casualty in the early 1960s, as the Soviet Union prepared to send the first human into space. A series of test flights were conducted to ensure the safety of the Voskhod spacecraft. Among these test flights was one that ended in tragedy. On a cold winter night in 1961, a young cosmonaut named Ivan Ilyich was launched into the upper atmosphere. His mission was to test the limits of human endurance in space. As the rocket ascended, everything seemed to be going according to plan. But as Ivan reached the edge of space, disaster struck. A malfunction in the life support system caused the cabin to depressurize, and Ivan was exposed to the vacuum of space. His final moments were captured by the onboard recording devices, a haunting reminder of the dangers that lay ahead. The Soviet authorities quickly covered up the incident, erasing all traces of Ivan's existence. His name was removed from the official records, and his family was told that he had died in a training accident, but the truth could not be silenced forever. 3. The vanishing of Alexei Belikan in 1962. Another cosmonaut, Alexei Belikan, was selected for a top-secret mission to test a new spacecraft designed for long-duration flights. Alexei was a seasoned pilot with a reputation for bravery and determination. He was determined to make history, but fate had other plans. As Alexei's spacecraft entered orbit, ground control lost contact with him. Despite repeated attempts to re-establish communication, there was no response from the spacecraft. Days turned into weeks, and still, there was no sign of Alexei. The Soviet authorities declared him missing in action. But rumors began to circulate that he had been abandoned in space, left to drift in the void for eternity. Years later, amateur radio operators claimed to have intercepted a faint signal from Alexei's spacecraft. The signal was weak and distorted, but it was enough to fuel speculation that Alexei had survived, trapped in orbit with no hope of rescue. The truth about his fate remains a mystery to this day. 4. The tragic tale of Ludmila Tokovy in 1963. The Soviet Union made history by sending the first woman into space. Valentina Tereshkova's successful mission was a propaganda triumph, but behind the scenes, another woman had paid the ultimate price for the Soviet space program. Ludmila Tokovy was a brilliant engineer and a skilled pilot who had been training for a secret mission to test a new spacecraft designed for lunar exploration. Her mission was fraught with risks, but Ludmila was determined to prove that women were just as capable as men in the harsh environment of space. As Ludmila's spacecraft approached the moon, a critical failure in the propulsion system caused it to veer off course. Despite her best efforts to regain control, the spacecraft was lost in the vastness of space. Ludmila's final transmission was a desperate plea for help, but there was nothing that could be done to save her. The Soviet authorities declared Ludmila's mission a failure and erased all evidence of her existence. Her name was never mentioned in the official records, and her family was told that she had died in a training accident. But those who knew the truth mourned the loss of a brave and talented cosmonaut who had given her life for the dream of space exploration. 5. The Ghosts of Voskhod 2. In 1965, the Soviet Union achieved another milestone in space exploration with the successful mission of Voskhod 2, which featured the first spacewalk by cosmonaut Alexei Leonov. But what the world didn't know was that there had been another Voskhod mission, one that ended in disaster. Voskhod 3 was a secret mission designed to test a new spacecraft capable of carrying 3 cosmonauts. The crew consisted of veteran cosmonauts Sergei Volkov, Mikhail Yegorov, and Yuri Karpov. Their mission was to conduct a series of experiments in orbit, but things went horribly wrong. As the spacecraft entered orbit, a malfunction in the life support system caused a fire to break out in the cabin. The crew fought valiantly to contain the blaze, but the flames quickly spread, engulfing the spacecraft in a fiery inferno. The last transmission from Voskhod 3 was a desperate plea for help, but it was too late. The spacecraft was lost and the crew perished in the cold vacuum of space. The Soviet authorities covered up the incident, claiming that Voskhod 3 had been a test flight with no crew on board. But the truth about the lost cosmonauts of Voskhod 3 would eventually come to light, revealing the dark side of the Soviet space program. 6. The mystery of Soyuz 1. In 1967, the Soviet Union suffered a devastating blow with the failure of the Soyuz 1 mission. Cosmonaut Vladimir Komarov was killed when his spacecraft crashed during re-entry, becoming the first in-flight fatality in the history of space exploration. But there were rumors that Soyuz 1 had not been the only mission to end in tragedy. According to some accounts, there had been a second Soyuz mission, Soyuz 0, which had been launched shortly before Soyuz 1. The crew of Soyuz 0, consisting of cosmonauts Anatoly Voronin and Boris Yegorov, had been tasked with testing a new docking system in orbit. But as the spacecraft approached its target, a malfunction in the docking mechanism caused it to collide with the target vehicle, resulting in the destruction of both spacecraft. The Soviet authorities denied the existence of Soyuz 0, but the rumors persisted. Some claimed that the mission had been a cover-up, designed to test new technology in secret. Others believed that the crew of Soyuz 0 had been sacrificed to ensure the success of Soyuz 1. The truth about Soyuz 0 remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the Soviet space program. 7. The lost lunar mission in the late 1960s, as the United States prepared to land astronauts on the moon. The Soviet Union was secretly planning its own lunar mission. The goal was to beat the Americans to the moon and claim the ultimate prize in the space race. But the Soviet lunar program was plagued by technical difficulties and setbacks. In 1968, a secret mission was launched to test a new lunar lander in orbit around the moon. The crew consisted of cosmonauts Viktor Petyaev, Georgy Dobrovolsky, and Vladislav Volkov. Their mission was to conduct a series of tests in lunar orbit, but as they approached the moon, disaster struck. A malfunction in the spacecraft's guidance system caused it to crash into the lunar surface. The crew perished instantly, and their spacecraft was lost in the desolate landscape of the moon. The Soviet authorities covered up the incident, claiming that the mission had been a success. But the truth about the lost lunar mission would eventually come to light, revealing the high cost of the Soviet Union's quest for lunar supremacy. 8. The final sacrifice in 1971. The Soviet Union suffered another devastating loss with the failure of the Soyuz 11 mission. Cosmonauts Georgy Dobrovolsky, Viktor Petyaev, and Vladislav Volkov were killed when their spacecraft depressurized during re-entry, becoming the first and only humans to die in space. But there were rumors that Soyuz 11 had not been the only mission to end in tragedy. According to some accounts, there had been a secret mission, Soyuz 12, which had been launched shortly before Soyuz 11. The crew of Soyuz 12, consisting of cosmonauts Alexei Gubarev and Vitaly Sevastyanov, had been tasked with testing a new life support system in orbit. But as the spacecraft entered orbit, a malfunction in the life support system caused the cabin to depressurize, and the crew perished. The Soviet authorities denied the existence of Soyuz 12, but the rumors persisted. Some claimed that the mission had been a cover-up, designed to test new technology in secret. Others believed that the crew of Soyuz 12 had been sacrificed to ensure the success of Soyuz. 11. The truth about Soyuz 12 remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the Soviet space program. 9. The legacy of the lost cosmonauts. The stories of the lost. Cosmonauts are a haunting reminder of the dangers and sacrifices of space exploration. These brave men and women ventured into the unknown, knowing that they might never return. Their stories were buried deep within the archives of the Kremlin, hidden from the world for decades. But the truth about the lost cosmonauts could not be silenced forever. As the Soviet Union collapsed and the archives were opened, the stories of these forgotten heroes began to emerge. Today, we remember the lost cosmonauts as pioneers who gave their lives for the dream of space exploration. Their legacy lives on in the stars, a testament to the courage and determination of those who dared to explore the final frontier. The lost cosmonauts may be gone, but they will never be forgotten. 10. Epilogue. The search for the truth in the years since the fall of the Soviet Union. Researchers and historians have worked tirelessly to uncover the truth about the lost cosmonauts, declassified documents, eyewitness accounts, and amateur radio recordings have shed new light on these tragic events, but many questions remain unanswered. The search for the truth continues as we strive to honor the memory of those who gave their lives in the pursuit of knowledge and exploration. The lost cosmonauts may be gone, but their stories serve as a reminder of the risks and sacrifices that come with the quest to explore the unknown. As we look to the future of space exploration, we must never forget the lessons of the past. The lost cosmonauts are a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, and their legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. Thanks for watching. Would you dare go hiking alone in one of these national parks? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tales of the mysterious and macabre. Till next time, stay curious and stay cautious.